I actually asked this on Twitter, on X. If you guys don't follow me on X, follow me on Bronx_banter on X. Very active on there. I put a poll out, and a lot of you guys responded. And I said, I'm not being a Debbie Downer here, but with that rough skid we had in those 3 games, what is the biggest glaring weakness of our club? I think we have a great, amazing club, but what's our biggest weakness? No team is perfect. So what's our biggest weakness? Obviously, there was a weakness here, and I put management, offense, defense, and pitching. Now, I don't have the stats up here, the exact percentages, but I was very relieved and glad to see that the lowest rated weakness that you guys voted with almost 100 votes is management at it was at 2% or something like that. Nobody thought that the management was an issue, which was awesome to see because, in past years, I'm very open to providing feedback and critique, and when I have displeasure with certain things about the team. But I feel like I agree Boone hasn't been the best or a stellar manager or has made the most greatest decisions in the past. He's made some really dumb ones. Do I think that means he's a dumb or bad manager? No, I don't. But do I think he's made some dumb and bad decisions? Absolutely. But I don't think that's indicative of who he is as an overall manager. And we've seen that he's improved. And it's clear that a lot of you guys have also seen that he's improved. I honestly relate a lot of our failures in the past seasons related to the team that Brian Cashman has given Aaron Boone. We see what happens when Brian Cashman gives gives Aaron Boone a good team, and he's managed the team fairly well. He's made some decisions that I don't 100% agree with, but it's okay. No one's going to ever be perfect in a single season, or, it happens. But man, has the management been good. And I almost been thinking about talking about a video of how I know we are so hard on Cashman, but where we're hard on him, yikes, we got to be real and say that Cashman did an amazing job this offseason. And I didn't want to say that right off the jump because I wanted to see what this team can produce. And at the end of the day, it's still early. But even if this team tanks, we see what this team is capable of. We see the vision of what the front office wanted to bring out this season. And it's been a great one, a great team. So shout out to Cashman. Sucks to even say that because we're pretty usually hard on Cashman, and Cashman has done and said some things that's been very frustrating. But I got to be honest, did a great job. Boone has done a great job. Beyond the front office things in terms of weakness, the highest 2 percentages by a long shot, it was 59% and 47%. 59% was the defense, and then behind that was the offense. Surprised to think that people thought the offense was a struggle. I know we had a game that we didn't do great offensively, but no team is going to be putting up 5+ runs every single game. That's just not realistic to expect out of any team. I will go as far as saying I don't care if it's an all-star team. There's going to be a day where everyone's just not going to click. When you have a long season like baseball, abnormalities are going to happen, regardless of how good the team is. So that's why I don't love the fact that offense was rated so highly in terms of a weakness of the team. If anything, I think it's positive of the team. But the highest rated weakness, and it should be pretty obvious for some of you guys that are tuning in right now, is for sure the defense. Normally hasn't been. Boone came out and said on Talking Yanks that he thinks that that's a strength. Sorry, Boone. I mean, you may think that's a strength, and on paper, in terms of what the players can produce defensively, yes, it may come off as a strength. We know what Rizzo could do defensively. We know what basically everyone could do defensively on there is great outside of Torres. Torres is somewhat serviceable. But Rizzo's not performing defensively as we expect. Offensively, he is, but defensively, he isn't. So it's tough to say that, it may be easy to say that, concussion symptoms are still a thing for him. But he's performing offensively. Not not amazing offensively, but he's still performing fairly well offensively. But defensively, he's been doing bad. Torres is doing bad as ever. And that's why he's on here. Let me skip it to Rizzo for a little bit. Give Torres a little bit of a break. Volpe has been, he's Gold Glove. He's made some amazing plays. Amazing plays. Most notably, the last play that the Yankees have been a part of was an amazing Volpe slide throw to first play. Super awesome play to end the game up the middle. But he's also made his fair share of errors already this year. I believe 3 errors this year. Cabrera, we know what he could do defensively, but he's also had 3 errors this year, despite, again, making some good plays in the hot corner. So with that, I do think he's going to sharpen up a bit as he plays there every day. But at the end of the day, that doesn't nullify the fact that our defense is a huge issue. Now, in the outfield, it's amazing, right? Verdugo's been looking amazing. He's been our best left fielder since Brett Gardner. Soto has been looking more than serviceable. People have been saying that Soto's just serviceable, but he's been looking more than serviceable. He's had some weird plays over his head that hasn't looked the cleanest or the sharpest, but he makes it up for his bat. So Way makes it up for his bat, so that's okay. And then Judge has been looking great defensively still out there, so that's not a problem. But doesn't deny the fact that on the infield, our defense has been looking rough, and that's our biggest weakness. And statistically, the Yankees have had one of the most opportunities to make plays out of any other team in the majors because we have so many ground ball pitch to contact pitchers. We don't have a lot of strikeout pitchers. So if you're allowing more opportunities for balls to be hit to you, to your defense, and your defense hasn't been looking too sharp, that creates a recipe for more errors, for balls to get through, and more opportunities for the other team to capitalize and just come from behind. So that's what I believe is the biggest weakness. Not sure what you guys think is the biggest weakness. But I will rebuttal and say, and I did say this in the past episode, I don't want to sound like I'm hating on the Yankees. I do think they're going to figure it out and turn it around. It's unfortunate that Rizzo has matched the amount of errors that he had all of last year. He matched that this year already. I don't know if he surpassed it, but he's definitely matched it with 4 errors already this year. But I do think they're going to turn it around. I don't think this is going to be the rate that they're going to continue to produce errors. But it's very clear that the errors have caused us some games already. And my biggest concern is not that I think they're going to continue this for the whole season. But my biggest thing is I hope this isn't a glimpse of what could possibly happen in the playoffs. I know I'm getting so ahead of myself, but in the playoffs, every play matters. Every play matters. Listen, you could have a Gold Glove, a left fielder in Verdugo, but if he messes up one play, forget it. It's going to look terrible for him. That's going to cost us the season. So, it doesn't matter what kind of accolades you have or what kind of even fielding percentage you have in the regular season. All what matters is that we can get to the playoffs, which it looks like we can, and what we do at the playoffs. I just don't want this to carry into the playoffs. But there's no reason to think that because, again, it's super early in the season. But that's definitely a concern for me is the defense. If I had to pick one, overall though, I'm pretty content and happy with the team and the way they're pulling in runs. And we said this heading into the season that the biggest strength of this team, which was the biggest weakness of this team last year, was the offense. So we knew we were going to have to out-hit. We thought that the biggest concern was going to be the pitching, but clearly it hasn't been. We have one of the lower team ERAs in terms of pitching, at least the starting 5. So that's relieving. Doc Ghost says that he believes the biggest weakness is the bullpen. Interesting take, Doc. I like that. Now, I almost agreed with you, and I see why you say that. Caleb Ferguson made me very frustrated. And if anything, I put a tweet out or an X out. I don't know what you would call it, but on an X, I posted a tweet where I said, I like all of our bullpen options except our lefty options. I know a lot of you don't like Clay Holmes, but Clay Holmes, it's not going to feel like it, but he's been lights out. 0 ERA, no blown saves. I want to say he's had 9 saves this year, which is, I don't know what that ranks in terms of all relievers, but that's really, really good. He hasn't done it in the most flashy way, but I agree in terms of the lefty options. Ferguson, he's had his, decent run, decent innings, but he's also blown some games. He also hasn't looked great. He's gotten the job done, but hasn't looked great in all of his appearances. Gonzalez is the other lefty option. He's, again, been serviceable, but hasn't been hasn't made me feel super confident in terms of the bullpen. Again, those are our lefty options. Hamilton, though, has been, oh man, I'm so happy for Hamilton. And anytime Hamilton's in, he's the most confident reliever we have. And for me, is Hamilton, and second is Dennis Santana. I love Dennis Santana. Sounds bad to say, he's been looking amazing. Is it what is it? I don't want to say a miracle in disguise, but that Loizaga got hurt, because Dennis Santana has come up and has been great, and he's been multi-inning. Obviously, we know what Loizaga could produce. Maybe that was a little bit blasphemous. I apologize. Let me apologize to Loizaga. But, man, I would have loved to have Dennis Santana and Loizaga in this bullpen. We would have looked so deep, so good with Hamilton, with Clay getting the job done. Hasn't been super make me feel super confident, but he gets the job done. But I agree, the lefty options I don't love. Birdie's now hurt. Wow, yes, that actually you reminded me of this, Doc. Birdie is on the 15-day IL, which is very unfortunate. He didn't look great his last 2 outings, I believe, or at least the last 2 outings I've seen him participate in. He did not look great. Excuse me. I hope that was a testament to the injury, but he's on a 15-day IL. We also know Nick Birdie is an injury-prone player. That's why he has so much talent, but that's why he's been tossing between team to team, because he's been injury-prone. So, though I don't agree that the bullpen is the biggest concern, I could see how it's up there. I think with the shaky contributions as of late, along with our lack of defense, has created a recipe for us losing the 3-game losing streak that we had. Obviously, I think one of those games was because our offense didn't do great either. But I could, if it wasn't the defense for me, I would agree with you, Doc, in saying it's the bullpen. That was a great take, because our starting rotation for the most part has been looking solid, right? Nestor hasn't been looking amazing, but other than that, our starting rotation has been doing what we could hope for and a little bit more, honestly. So I could see that. I could agree with you, Doc. And if you liked today's episode, please make sure you subscribe down below. It'll truly mean the world. Check out what YouTube suggests will be a great video for you. And also, The Martian wants you to subscribe. Judge wants you to subscribe. So make sure you do. And until next time, peace and be blessed.